It's time to pull those belts tight, race fans. The front stretch is coming at you, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Now, here's Dan Taylor and Dirk Houston.
This is AJ Allmendinger, driving the number 47 Chevy. You're listening to The Front Stretch.
Well, good morning to you, race fans, and welcome to The Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs, online at joeskarting.com. Listen, thanks to Dirk and I, we have your day planned out. You're going to enjoy the show up until about probably 9 a.m.
Dan,
what?
It's over.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that.
In a few hours, it's over.
I know, but we've got your remedy. So when the show gets over with, get yourself kind of relaxed, maybe finish breakfast, get some stuff done around the house, and then at about 11 o'clock, head over to Joe's Karting and do a little bit of racing. Get a couple of races in, and then come over to Quaker Steak and Lube at about 12:30, 1 o'clock for the Homestead Viewing Party. We've got some great specials that Quaker Steak has thrown our way, including all these go with a lube tube. That's 100 ounces of your favorite domestic or on-tap beer. And you get a lube tube and your choice of 6...
Pork sliders.
Pork sliders. Thank you. 6 pork sliders, 6 hot dogs, or a bucket of wings. So you could choose those 3 items to go with your lube tube. $16. That's all it's going to cost you. And by the way, a lube tube on its own usually costs you about $15.
I was going to say, I think that lube tube in a bucket is normally like $28 or something like that.
Yep. I think that bucket's a little bit bigger. This is more of, like, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to order a special of, like, I'm going to get the lube tube for probably our table, and then I'll get one of the sides, and then everyone else can order their own food.
Are you going to get the lube tube with O'Doul's so I can partake?
No. We'll get you a lube tube of water. Well, you can't even drink that because your kidneys.
Not that much water. No.
The Homestead Party going on today at Quaker Steak and Lube. Again, everything kicks off at about 1 o'clock. Pre-race coverage starts at 1. It's on NBC and MRN for the Homestead race. The race is set to start at about 1:30, and typically that's going to be about 1:40, 1:45 with the pre-race ceremonies and all that fun stuff that they go on through. So,
and with all the rain, it'll be at about 5 and on Monday.
Don't say that. Hopefully it's going to be gorgeous down there. Hopefully we won't deal with any rain and water. But yeah, absolutely, man. It's
ton of giveaways, ton of trivia during the race. Just about every TV commercial will be giving something away.
By the way, I'm going to do myself a favor. Remember at the Daytona 500 party, I didn't run the questions by you ahead of time, and I'm going to do that this time to not make so many mistakes. But there's going to be some dirt track trivia questions involved too. So familiarize yourself with some of the big races in this area at I-80, at Eagle, Junction, the World of Outlaws that go through, because we're going to ask those results.
And they probably won't be on Google.
Right. That's the kind of key thing to that. You cannot Google that one. But yeah, it all comes to an end today. Ford Championship Sunday is today at Homestead Miami Speedway. It's going to be a great race. And earlier this week, I was just about ready to go to bed. I think it was Monday night. I was just about ready to go to bed. It was about 10 o'clock. And I flipped through the channels, and NBC Sports was playing NASCAR. It was called #NASCAR Throwback. And they replayed the 2011 Homestead race, which was the year that Tony and Carl were battling for the win. And they ended up tying.
Got the title.
They ended up tying for the championship. The tiebreaker was the most amount of wins in the 10 races. That was the old format before we had this tournament style.
Tony smoked 5 of the races.
Yeah, that was, and he stunk the other 5 of the races. There was a reason he had to win all 5 races to get up there and battle with Carl. Carl had a consistent 10 races. Tony had the best of half of them. But what a race. It's going to be tough today because today's Tony's last day. And Tony was the reason why I got into this sport. I worked at a Home Depot. I was told that I could wear his gear, and I didn't have to do my hair every day. So I went and bought a bunch of Tony Stewart hats. And that was the year that he kind of exploded onto the scene. He won one of his championships that year. So it was a great kind of coincidence for me to get involved in the sport. And I fell in love with the guy's attitude and his ruthlessness and his wisdom. I mean, when he says something, all the drivers kind of stop and say, he's got a point. Most of the time when athletes talk, it's maybe you should just sit in the locker room. But
or kneel.
Yeah. But it's going to be a tough day for a lot of Stewart fans, including me. I am busting out my old Home Depot all-leather jacket, Tony Stewart jacket today. I'm going to wear it for the final time. I'm going to get my favorite Tony Stewart hats. I've got a big collection down in my basement that I'm going to bust out, and I'm going to do it one last time as a Tony Stewart fan.
Are you going to bring Stewart?
He can't. He unfortunately, cats are not allowed, especially that cat.
I think if you put him on a leash and called him a therapy cat, you'd be good to go.
I don't think there is a leash thick enough that would stop that cat from getting to the back supply of wings.
Yeah, a boat rope.
You've seen him, though. He's a very strong cat for his size.
He's a very stout cat.
Yes, he is. He's had many a chicken wings and ice cream. All right, so Homesteads today. Let's talk about the race at Phoenix. What got us here today? The 4 drivers are going to be competing in the championship. Starting off, the guys who had a bad day, Martin Truex Jr. and Jimmy Johnson, both were plagued with the
Pulling up to pit.
Thank you. Pulling up to pit penalty that NASCAR flagged both of them for. Truex was hit first, and it was broadcast pretty apparent over TV. They made it very clear that was a breaking of the rule, but that's not the issue that came up this week and what Truex and Johnson have issue with. They have issue with it being called on a regular basis.
Right.
But maybe this is something NASCAR will look at in the offseason and say, you know what, you guys may have a point, so we will modify this rule just a little bit. But this rule is very, very important to certain drivers, that they cannot get an extra lap back. And it's a whole strategy thing. If you really want to get it explained, wait till, actually it should be posted by now. When they post the Phoenix race on NASCAR's YouTube page, go back and watch. The broadcast partners explained very clearly why this is a rule and how it could become an advantage for a lap-down driver. So, here's how it all laid out. Truex finished 40th, rough day for him. Johnson finished 38th. Lucky for Johnson to get that win last weekend at Texas.
No, he won. Carl won Texas.
Right, and Johnson won at Martinsville.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Johnson won Martinsville. I could pull up my records here in a little bit, but just to get the information correct. But very lucky for him to get that win, because walking away with 4 points from Phoenix, he'd have been pointed out.
Well, it would have been a little bit different deal for him, I do believe. I don't know if he would have pressed quite so hard, quite so early.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to go ahead and get in, which ended up happening anyway. He didn't want to have to battle Harvick at Homestead.
Yeah,
you know?
Nobody. I mean, Kevin's one of those guys we talked about, and I was actually very surprised. It didn't feel like Kevin had that go for the jugular mentality this weekend at Phoenix.
He had the mentality.
Weekend.
He just didn't get the car right.
Oh, it was a terrible car.
You know, everybody caught up, and if they would have had his car at the beginning of the race where it was at the end, been a whole different afternoon for Mr. Harvick.
Probably.
But
those are the 2 chase drivers that finished the worst. Other chase drivers that finished kind of ways in the back. Matt Kenseth finished 21st. He was eliminated. Carl Edwards finished 19th.
Eliminated while leading.
Yeah.
Eliminated while leading. The Joey Logano curse stuck Alex Bowman. A car with double digits, just like Logano's, number 88, number 22.
I know. The black helicopters.
22 multiplied by Harvick.
That was a racing deal. So go back to, we're about to come to the white flag. They've now gotten 3 laps to go, 2 laps to go. And Kenseth goes into turn 1, nice and smooth. He's got himself a nice good old lead. Michael McDowell, no fault, puts it into the wall, brings out the caution.
Blows a tire.
Brings out the caution. So then this is the restart I'm excited about. I'm driving back to my niece's birthday party, and I'm listening to it on MRN, and I'm all fired up because I'm looking at the starting lineup, and I'm going, Bowman's on the inside. He's restarting 3rd. This could be Bowman's shot to really get up there and get himself a win. Well, Bowman gets a great, not a great restart, but Kyle Busch. This was so great about this restart because Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch were starting next to each other, and they both.
Bowman started 2nd. Matt took the outside lane.
I'm sorry, I thought Bowman was starting 3rd.
No,
okay.
He started 2nd.
So Bowman was on the outside
lane. No, Bowman was on the inside because Matt took the outside lane. Outside's preferred. Everybody on the restarts took the outside lane.
Okay.
All day.
Sailing off into turn 1, Kenseth got the signal from his spotter that he was clear, so he dives down to protect the inside line and to run his line. I don't think there was anything bad about what Kenseth did. I don't think he was doing anything dirty. He was just simply protecting his line and driving his line through turns 1. And Kyle Busch, Matt's teammate, gives Alex Bowman a big shot into turn 1, pushes Bowman forward. Nothing bad. I don't think this was just aggressive racing. This was Kyle Busch understanding that if I don't get this spot, I'm out. So he gives Bowman a shot. Bowman gets into the back of, or when Kenseth cuts down in front of Bowman, Kenseth goes into the outside retaining wall. He went from winning the race to
and advancing
21st, and being eliminated. So a very quick turn of events, and that's how quickly this stuff can turn. We've talked about it so many times. The great thing about this form of racing, the thing that I really do like about it versus the old style and the old style and the old style, is that championship chances could disappear in a heartbeat. And they could say it back in the day. Well, championship hopes can disappear in a heartbeat, but over a 10-race battle or a 36-race battle, you could build up quite the cushion that you saw it coming if your championship's hopes disappeared. This is completely different. This was a points reset. It was going into the elimination race, and Matt had to win. I didn't have to win, but he had to have a good finish. If he'd have finished top 5, he'd have still made it his way through the chase because he had a good enough lead. But finishing 21st, he was eliminated.
Well, my whole problem with the chase is it's not a season championship. They call it a championship, but it's not. It's a 10-race championship on a 36-race season. So that's, and
I understand that, but anybody that's in the Final 4, I have never said doesn't deserve to be there, or in the Final 8 or in the Final 12, doesn't deserve to be there. They've had a tremendous first 26 races that has set them up to be in the chase. I guess you could talk about it in the first 16. I like Chris Buescher. I think he's a talented guy, but frankly, he had no business being in the chase this year.
No, he didn't. But, it's 30, he was able to get in by the rules that are given.
Mm-hmm.
There's 37.5% of the racers are going to make the chase. To me, that's a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
But they could put 4 more racers in and make 50%.
Don't let the NCAA basketball tournament affect the way we do this. I like it with the 16 it is. I think it's good.
NCAA, I don't think is much over 25%. I know it ain't 37.5%.
Yeah, that's 68 teams qualifying, and for football,
out of over 236, I think, or something like that for basketball. So just barely over 25%.
Well, anyways, I like the system we have. I think it definitely ramps up the drama, which we have a society that requires more drama for their viewing pleasure.
The thing with this chase this year is you've got the last 3 race winners going in with 1 point guy. The point guy is last year's champion.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to make it interesting.
It's going to be really interesting. I honestly, after this field was set, and we'll talk about this more in turn 4, I have absolutely no idea who to pick today. It's obvious. We recorded on Thursday, so we don't know practice results. We don't know starting grid. But even knowing that, I have no idea who to pick today. Even if I did know that, I had no idea who to pick today.
Well, I don't think Carl's won at Homestead. He might have 1 win at Homestead, but I'm not sure.
He finished second one time.
He finished second one time. He should have the mental edge, okay?
But can't Kyle? Kyle came here last year and won.
Kyle came and won. He didn't finish second to where he's hungry for it. He won. But they've had his number the last several races.
Yeah.
All these guys, the other 3 guys he's rating against have all beat him in the last 3 races. So that's a little bit of a mental picture. Jimmy Johnson has won a lot of championships. They all ended at Homestead, but he never had to win a race or run in the top 2 or 3. And again, they don't have to win. It's just out of those 4 cars, if they finish 37th, 38th, 39th, and 40th. Whoever finishes 37th is the champion.
Absolutely. If they all wreck out, but whoever finishes the best of the 4 wins the championship.
And a pretty good chance that one of those 4 drivers will win. Jimmy Johnson proved again at Phoenix that he's back.
Yeah.
He's on his game. They're on their game. He made a screw up this time, and nobody but him.
Mm-hmm.
So
he could complain all he wants to, but I think when he came back to the shop on Monday and looked at the film, he may have been perturbed that there was 1 or 2 chances earlier in the season that NASCAR could have called it, but they didn't. So that's his fight with NASCAR, but I think he understands that he broke a rule there.
Where his fight with NASCAR is something that I always thought and wondered why they never called it. When they come off to go down pit road, if there's 6 lapped cars between first and second, if they've got a long entrance to pit road, second place is on the leader's bumper.
Yeah.
They passed all those cars, but they didn't pass the pace car.
Right.
And that is a big advantage. It's a disadvantage for the guy to be leading the race.
It's a disadvantage for whoever's coming in first because he can't pass the pace car. All right, let's get back on schedule. We'll talk a little bit more about this in turn number 4 if we've got some time after we talk with Anthony Ainsle and Corey Wilson about the turkey chase coming up this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Joey Logano ends up getting the win. Kyle Busch finishes second. Kyle Larson third. Kevin Harvick fourth. And Kurt Busch fifth. Harvick and Busch both eliminated. So was Hamlin.
And Kenseth.
And Kenseth, right. So those were your 4 drivers that were eliminated. That leaves us Kyle Busch,
Carl
Matt
Edwards.
Thank you.
Kyle
I'm
and Carl.
I'm getting all sorts of turned around
2
here.
Toyotas.
Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards,
Joey Logano.
Joey Logano, and
Jimmy
Johnson.
So you got a Ford, a Chevy, and 2 Toyotas.
By the way, I read this week, Toyota is on the verge of winning their first Sprint Cup championship, manufacturer-wise. They did not win it last year with Kyle Busch winning the championship in the drivers' points. I believe Chevy won it last year.
Because the points are done different. It's not a chase format for the manufacturer's championship. They just do points for all 36 races.
Absolutely. Right now they've got a 30-point lead over Chevy, so I think it's pretty safe to say that between Kyle and Carl, one of them can finish
in the top
within 30 points of Jimmy and win the championship.
Except they will have bonus points.
No, they don't. They don't have bonus points at the championship round. They did make that change this year. No bonus points for the manufacturers.
For the manufacturers, too. Because I was going to say, they used to have them, I know. And I know the Chase doesn't.
Every other race they do, but not today at Homestead.
Really?
Yeah, yep.
So they kind of put a little twist of the Chase into the manufacturers championship. That's really odd. 35 races are this way and 1 race isn't. But
well, I mean, that's the way it is for the drivers, too. There's no bonus points for drivers today either.
Because there's just 4 guys racing.
And to make sure that it's whoever finishes, because essentially your champion could finish 3rd, but have the second placement be right. And so they eliminated the bonus points and made it as simple as possible. Whoever finishes the best wins the championship.
I understand that for the Chase. I don't understand it for the manufacturers championship.
Okay.
But if that's the way they're doing it, that's the way they're doing it.
It's probably just to clone the point standings that they have for every other one, so that they all kind of line up the same. It's how now all the series now have the same point system. All the series now have the same chase grid format, so that it's not too confusing when you're switching between differences, but it's still a little confusing. Don't worry. All right, so we're going to get to Homestead we're going to get to Quaker. I wish we were going to Homestead. The weather this week, I wish we were in Homestead, Miami this week. But, wish in one hand.
Fish in the other?
Yeah, the saying goes. We'll be at Quaker Steak and Lube today starting. I'm going to get there at about 11:30 so I can make sure and get the contest rolling, and we could finish up the season-long Pick'ems contest, which, by the way, Chet Stambaugh has, I want to say it's a 16-point lead over Orlando Adams. So it's going to take an issue, probably a mechanical issue, or oddly enough, a driver issue to see for there to be a change in the top standings. But great season for Chet Stambaugh and Orlando Adams, and I'm really surprised the champion last year didn't even make it into the chase this year.
Thanks.
No. I'm talking about Mike Carlson. You were 2 years ago. Well, technically, yeah, you won the points that last year, but you can't win. So technically, the actual official winner was Mike Carlson.
Put it this way, somebody's winning some neat stuff because I didn't win this year.
Absolutely, some really nice stuff. All right, we got to take a break. We'll come back in turn number 2. We're going to talk with Corey Wilson, who is the driver of the number 61 dirt cart for Homepride Motorsports. He's going to be at the Turkey Bowl the Turkey Chase this coming weekend. At the Lancaster Event Center on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then in turn number 3, we're going to talk with Anthony Ainsle, the announcer for the Turkey Chase, about what fans can expect. We'll be back here on the Front Stretch.
Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs has taken a page out of IMCA's rulebook and gone crate. These brand new low-emission engines will still have you white-knuckling it all through the Metro's fastest indoor facility. Joe's Karting is now friendly for all skill levels with their brand new Honda-powered engines. It's time to get to Joe's today and find out what drivers like Jack Dover, Shaylee Bate, and Andrew Kosiski have known for years. Located in Council Bluffs and online at joeskarting.com. That's karting with a K.
We're hooked up in turn 2 and still showing the green flag on the front stretch.
Hi, this is Brad Keselowski, 2012 NASCAR Sprint Cup champion, and you're listening to The Front Stretch.
Welcome back to the Front Stretch, heading into turn number 2, and it's time to talk to one of the guys that's going to be at the Turkey Chase this coming 25th, 26th, 27th. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, if I have my math correct. Corey Wilson, how you doing, bud?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Good. Driving the 62 cart for Homepride Motorsports. How many years you been driving dirt carts?
5 years now.
Okay. You got your start. I know I met you over at Joe's Karting. Is that kind of how you got involved in the dirt cart world?
Yeah, a little bit. And a buddy of mine, Jordan Krug, took me out a couple of times before then and let me race his go-kart, so kind of got addicted to it from then.
It's pretty quick, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Homepride Motorsports came over and kind of helped you out a little bit with Luke doing a little bit of sponsorship. Was that big for you to land that sponsorship?
That was very huge. I was actually getting ready to try to sell off everything because it was kind of getting a little outrageous on the pocketbook. And Luke contacted me one day and asked what it would take to get a go-kart back on the racetrack, and we sat down and got it figured out and got the go-kart back out on the racetrack.
You had a relationship with Luke before this, or was this just out of the blue?
No, I've had a relationship with him before. He did a little bit of sponsorship the first year I ran the turkey chase. He contacted him, and he gave me a little bit of money to run that deal there.
And then did you also, I think I've seen you running around with helping Jesse Sobbing every once in a while, so that probably helped out with getting that also?
Oh, yeah. That helped out a lot.
Kind of making connections and kind of getting out there and kind of throwing your name around a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
What class of kart do you race?
The adult clone class.
Okay. And what's the differentiating factors for that? Obviously, the adult's going to be a 16 and older?
Yep, 16 and older, and then they split them off by weight groups in that class, like 360 and 390, I think, are the two classes that the turkey chase runs.
Okay. What prep work have you been doing the last couple of days getting ready for it? Is there a lot of prep work that's done at the shop to get these karts ready, or are they pretty driver-centered?
It's a little bit of both. We got Jesse's always told me that winning starts from the shop, so go through the go-karts like you would a regular car, nut and bolt check, make sure everything's lubricated, and tire work's a big key on a go-kart.
Yeah, can you guys doctor your tires?
Yep.
Okay,
because
that's perfectly legal. However, in the Lucas Oil late model series, that's completely illegal. So we got that clarification earlier this year.
Yeah, we can put chemicals in them. We just got to watch temperatures on them when we go out on the track. So no heat.
So you can't heat them up ahead of time?
You can, but they have to be a certain temperature before they allow you to go out onto the track.
Okay, interesting. All right, so what's the 3 days like? You've run the turkey chase before. What are fans in store for on the next the 3 days for the Friday, Saturday, Sunday show?
It's pretty excitement. I mean, it's indoor racing, so it's pretty side-by-side and close, intense racing. The junior class, they spice it up a little bit. And then throughout the night, of course, the adult class, everybody's temper levels go up a little bit.
Even though it's supposed to be kind of your entry level, have fun, let's enjoy the racing, tempers do still get out of control from time to time.
Yes, they do, and then tempers are real quick in indoor racing.
And they probably get set off a lot more because you guys don't have much protection. So it's, hey, don't mess with me or you could do some serious damage.
Yes, that is true. We got our helmet, neck brace, gloves, and that's about it.
No halo, no cage, nothing like that. It's open.
Nope.
Have you ever rolled a cart?
Yes, I have.
I almost did at Joe's Karting one time. That's why I'm not welcome back very often. What happened? Was it your fault or was just a racing deal?
It was more of a racing deal. We down at Eagle Raceway, a couple of us got into turn 3 and 4 a little too hot, and I got the short end of the stick.
So you race at Mini E, and then do you race at Little Sunset at all?
I used to. I love that racetrack. That's like one of my favorite racetracks to run at because of the size of it.
Yeah.
Mini E's pretty fun because it's tight little racing, and it's racing for position from either first or dead last.
So you've been involved in racing for quite a while. This isn't just something you said you picked up kart racing about 5 years ago. You were involved doing it before that, right?
Yeah. Yep.
What were you crewing, kind of doing some, I know you did some drawings for us when the Front Stretch first got kicked off. Did some artwork?
Yep, and going, like I was always, helping my buddy Nick Deal on his INCA Modified a lot when he first started, hanging out helping Jesse at the racetracks every chance I could.
Okay, so let me ask you a question about Jesse. He's completely different away from a microphone, right? Because every time I've talked to him on the show or put a microphone in front of him, he kind of stiffens up, but he's a really funny, personable guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100% outgoing.
Yeah. I'd love to get that guy, that version of Jesse Sobbing on the show, because the times that I've talked to him off the microphone, obviously he says some things that can't be aired on radio, but he's a pretty entertaining guy and a wealth of knowledge, right?
Yes, definitely.
He's taught
me a lot.
Yeah. And you kind of toured around with him. Did you happen to go with him over to Las Vegas this last weekend?
Nope, I sure didn't. I have actually only been out there one time.
And he took his modified out there, right?
Yep.
Well, what else you got going on? What's your plans for 2017? Are you going to stick to the karts?
That's the plan for right now. We're going to try to run as much as we can. Got a couple of different racetracks in mind that I want to try to concentrate more on.
What ones and why?
Like Newton Speedway in Newton, Iowa.
Okay.
You can go down there any given day, and the racing down there is amazing. The people down there are the most friendly people I've been around. And try to hit up Brookings, South Dakota. I always hear a lot about it. Never been there before. I want to try that track out.
How far away is that track?
I don't know.
It seems like a little bit of a haul to go out there and do a little bit of racing.
Yeah.
Do you guys get
watching videos of the track, the size of it, and then the drafting fact that comes into it with a go-kart?
Really?
Yes.
So you get out on a big track. What can your kart do for like a top speed?
Like max speed's like 70, I think.
Okay, well,
on a big open track.
That's about 65 miles an hour faster than I'm comfortable going in a non-caged kart. We'll refer back to that almost rolling the cart at Joe's Karting as to my nervousness. Needless to say, Buddy not happy with me after that night, but I think it was because I beat him. But anyways, we've been talking with Corey Wilson, driver of the 61 for Homepride Motorsports, going to be at the Turkey Chase this coming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So after you're done with Thanksgiving on Thursday, you could head over to the Lancaster Event Center in Lincoln, and you could check out some kart racing. There's going to be quite a few karts on hand. We're not talking about 30, 40 cars on hand for a car count, or maybe even 60 or 70. There's going to be a couple hundred.
Yeah, I would say at least 100.
Yeah, it's pretty thick, and these karters come from a long ways away, and this is a big prestigious event. And coming up here in a little bit, we're going to talk with Anthony Ainsle, the announcer for that race, about some of the confirmed drivers. What's your plans long term? Are you happy with kind of doing the kart racing, or do you want to jump up and eventually have a modified or a late model, or even a sprint car?
I would like to try out a sport mod or a modified, but I think for right now the plans is to stick in the go-kart for now. I mean, Luke don't care so much that it's no seat belts and cages and all that, but I think living on the edge a little bit is kind of the fun part.
Yeah, absolutely. So you haven't been able to talk Jesse into taking one of his modifieds out for hot laps or anything like that?
No, not yet.
He's probably pretty protective of those.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, best of luck at the Turkey Chase. We appreciate you joining us on the show. You can check him out. He's got a Facebook page, just a regular personal page, not a fan page yet, right?
Nope, just the personal page.
All right, Corey Wilson. You can check him out at the Turkey Chase this coming weekend. Thanks a lot for your time, man.
Yep, thank you.
So, again, that was Corey Wilson. You can find him on Facebook, but he will be at the Turkey Chase this weekend. Did fairly well. Dang it, I should have asked him before we hung up how he did at the Racing with the Stars. I think he finished runner-up. Might have been third, but I'm pretty sure it was runner-up at the 9th annual Racing with the Stars over at Joe's Karting. And you can catch him at Joe's Karting quite a bit. He goes out there and puts down some pretty stupid fast laps to the point where I think I'm doing good, and then I see his lap times, and he's about 3.5 seconds faster than me, and I'm like, okay, I just give up on life. We're going to take a break. We'll come back at turn number 3. Dirk will be back in the studio. We'll talk with Anthony Ainsle, the announcer for the SLMR Series, the announcer at I-80 Speedway, and he's going to be doing the announcing for the Turkey Chase coming up this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Lancaster Event Center. We'll be back here on the front stretch.
Joe's Karting is giving away a Hammerhead ATV to one of its members on December 17th. All you have to do is get to Joe's and do some racing. Purchase a 16-lap Hammerhead race for $20 plus tax and you're in. On December 17th, Joe's will open the registration box and one lucky customer will win a Hammerhead GTS 150 or a Hammerhead Torpedo. Get to joeskarting.com for more details and rules. It's time to get to Joe's Karting and find out what all your friends already know.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Quaker Steak and Lube is the official watering hole for the front stretch and the best place to catch all the NASCAR action today. Open at 11 a.m. with delivery available to Council Bluffs.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Feather the brake and get back to the gas. Dan and Dirk are headed into turn 3 on the front stretch.
Hey, I'm Joey Logano, driver number 22, Shell Penzo Ford, and you're listening to The Front Stretch.
The front stretch, heading into turn number 3, and it's time to talk to the man who's going to be sitting behind the microphone for 3 straight days, and you've got a lot of announcing in front of you. Nothing you can't tackle, though. Mr. Anthony Ainsle, the voice of the SLMR Series, and going to be the voice of the Turkey Chase this coming weekend at the Lancaster Event Center. How you doing, Anthony?
Oh, doing all right. I think this off season's getting to me.
Are you getting bored? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, even with basketball and football going, I'm still a race fan at heart, and right now it's kind of getting to me.
You know what I discovered when the off season started?
What did you find?
Something called a full night's sleep. It's really weird. It's like I go to bed, and then about 8-9 hours later, I wake up and I feel refreshed.
I was going to say, after the summer we've had, it's kind of hard to get back into that.
It's not going to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning after getting back from the dirt track and then getting up at 6 o'clock to come do the radio show or to come do more stuff. Or it's been very nice. But
he also noticed there's somebody else in the bed.
There you go.
You mean other than my cat? Yeah. All right, well, let's talk about what's going on with this Turkey Chase. This is kind of a pretty traditional race. It's been going on for, is it 10 years now?
This will be the 11th year now. It's gotten to be quite a big go-karting event, especially in Nebraska. It's a nice way for a lot of the locals around Nebraska. The guys just behind us at the I-80 Speedway down at Little Sunset, and of course, Little Sunset Speedway really hosts the event, and then of course you get drivers from the Mini E Speedway, Eagle Raceway's go-kart track. It's a good last race of the year for all of these young drivers and veteran drivers to, at least get a few more laps in before the season's pretty much all said and done.
Do you get any drivers that come down from over in Blencoe?
We get from where?
Blencoe, Iowa. That's probably the next closest track as far as the go-karts go.
Yeah, we do get a few Iowa drivers. We also pick up a couple of Kansas drivers. I believe I'm looking at the pre-registered list right now as of yesterday. One of the heavy favorites from Kansas, Tabor Horenza, is once again on the list. So Tabor's always a heavy favorite when it comes to the adult clone flat kart division. So I'll be watching him later on as the weekend goes.
We just talked with Corey Wilson, who's going to drive the 61 Homepride Motorsports clone kart for the adult class, and he was figuring there's going to be somewhere probably around 100 cars. Is that an accurate number, you think?
Absolutely. There are going to be a lot of drivers competing in multiple classes. There are going to be about at least 11 or 12 different classes ranging from age groups to weight limits. You're going to see a lot of drivers go after some pretty good cash, especially in the adult classes. Of course, you mentioned Corey Wilson. He's definitely going to be there. He's been there in past years. He's done pretty well, but I'd still like to see him try to break through and get that huge win on, I say, Saturday night or Sunday afternoon. But I tell you what, there's going to be a lot of heavy hitters, regardless of the class, whether it be flat karts or cage karts. You're going to have some pretty good star power in all of those classes.
And talk about, obviously this is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday show. No practice on Thursday with it being Thanksgiving. Is there any practice on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving?
Nope, it's going to be all Friday through Sunday. But I tell you what, the practice sessions do go on pretty far. We usually spend about maybe an hour and a half on practice, getting everyone through and letting everyone get a few good laps in on the racetrack. And that happens all 3 days. So these drivers will get a very good chance at feeling the track out and taking some notes on what to expect from this weekend.
And it's going on to the Lancaster Event Center, which they'll obviously be shipping in a massive amount of dirt and building the track. So this will still be a dirt oval racetrack that they'll have to compete on.
Yep, it's going to be a little different. I mean, it's a little bit more. The track is a little bit more, a little tighter than what Eagle is. Eagle is mainly almost completely circular on the infield. Always loved seeing that track. And then Little Sunset, a little bit wider corners and a wider back straightaway. This track, it's tighter. The straightaways and the corners aren't as wide as Eagle or Little Sunset. So it's going to make for tighter racing. There's going to be a lot of fenders rubbing, and there always is around the Turkey Chase, and that's what makes it fun to watch.
They got fenders?
Well,
not after.
You almost can't tell. You almost can't tell after the races are done.
So no 4 wide action, probably.
Probably not. I've seen them push 3 wide in the corners, and sometimes everyone minds their business and gets through the corner safely. Either that or someone goes off the edge and into the tires.
You've got quite the weekend ahead of you, and fans can come down and experience it. Again, it goes on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Lancaster Event Center. Tickets are available now. You can purchase them at the door. That's the easiest way to get it done. But just come down and watch some of the names. I know the Bades always come down and put on a pretty strong show. Do you expect them to be back this year?
The Bades, probably Chantel will probably be down there. I don't think Shaylee will be racing, but, hey, she may surprise me.
Yeah, you never know.
Some of the other guys, Corey Dumper, we saw him dominate the late model scene in Nebraska in 2016. He'll definitely bring a late model. I have a strong feeling he will. Also, J.J. Rodeman, he's had a limited late model schedule with us. Of course, he ran out at I-80 a couple of times with the Supers. So J.J. Rodeman, he's got a bright neon flat cart he's thinking about bringing down. Also, some guys who may have to watch, possibly Ryan Jenkins, our 2013 national champion for NASCAR. He may be coming out, as well as Cale Kaziski and Jacob Hopscheid. Maybe those guys will be coming out here. Also, we also have, I believe, the Layton boys, Grayson and Brogan. Of course, we see them a lot in Victory Lane whenever Bill Layton Jr. wins with the late models. So we'll be seeing Grayson and Brogan out there. Also, Zach Zeitner, the son of Awesome Al Zeitner, he'll be out there as well, competing in the cage cards. And from what I hear, Ashlyn Peterson, Devin Peterson's little sister, she'll be driving in the cage carts, as well will be Keely Holloman. I believe I think it's the daughter of Tad Holloman. She'll be out there racing karts just like she was last year.
Quite the field. Exactly what doesn't Corey Dumpert drive? Because we've seen him in about everything.
He does. I mean, he once drove a compact. Remember, I think it was the last points night out at I-80. He did triple duty. Ran the Grand National late model, ran the stock car, ran a compact. Oh, man, I think there's not too many cars that I haven't seen Corey drive.
It'll be interesting this weekend. Tickets are available now. Again, it's at the Lancaster Event Center. Anything we've left out? Like, when does this whole event kick off on Friday?
I believe we get started about, hot laps begin at about noon. Racing usually gets started about 1:45 to 2 o'clock. Basically 2 rounds of heat races and then the features. And that'll probably be the same format for Saturday and Sunday as well. And best part is, to all the drivers who participate, every single driver gets a $20 gift card from Speedway Motors this year.
Oh, nice.
Hey, would you recommend?
There you go. Yeah.
Would you recommend, if you're coming down to watch this and coming from Omaha, would you recommend going to the Waverly exit and then down to 84th Street, or going through Eagle and coming to 84th Street and coming north?
I'd probably suggest coming down I-80 and trying to and get onto Highway 6. Past Waverly after coming down I-80 from Omaha, take the exit onto Highway 6. That'll take you to an intersection, I believe, just off 84th Street. And if you follow the curve, it'll take you right to the Lancaster Center.
Correct. Yeah, I was going to say, I know you can go that way, or you can jump off at exit 420 or 421 to go to Eagle Raceway, go down to the Speedway and take a right turn, and then go to 84th Street right by Southeast Community College and come north to the event center, too. Either way.
That's another good way to go for it.
Either way, I'll get you there.
Yep.
Anthony, have a good weekend. Take it easy on your voice. I know it's been a little bit of an off season, so the voice has been kind of relaxed. You don't want to jump into it cold, so kind of maybe as you're getting to bed on Thursday after Thanksgiving dinner, just kind of start doing a little bit of announcing of maybe the turkey around the table.
That's why he's going to cheer tonight at the basketball game to get his voice back.
Yeah, there you go. It's I was going to say, I'm glad the basketball season's getting kicked up again, but there's still a few more races left to go. Haven't given up on me yet. I'm glad to be back at it, and hopefully, and also it gets me more excited for the upcoming racing season next year.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot for your time, bud. Have a good day.
Absolutely. You too, guys.
So, again, that was Anthony Ainsle, the announcer for the Turkey Chase coming up this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Lancaster Event Center in Lincoln. Tickets are available at the gate. This is a fun event. I'm really trying this year, I've been saying it for the last couple of years, to get down and actually watch it, because the amount of kart racers that are out there is just amazing. The amount you're going to pay to get in is, you're going to pay pennies per race. So it's well worth your time. Head over there. Bring the little kids over with it, and let's get them addicted to kart racing rather than some of those other enjoyable addictions in this world has to offer.
Believe me, you get your kids involved with racing, they won't have any money for drugs.
Dang straight. We're going to take a break. We'll come back at turn number 4. We will preview Homestead. Last time we get to say that for 13 weeks until we preview Daytona.
When that checkered flag waves, the fun is done.
You may see me cry. You may see a grown man cry today because that means my driver is taking the checkered flag for the final time.
Well, if Tony wins, I know you will cry.
Absolutely. If Tony wins, there will be a massive beer tab.
I was going to say,
on my credit card.
You're going to need an Uber driver to get home.
I may need a fleet of them. We'll be back in turn 4.
Are you looking to book your next outing? Look no further than Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Located just north of Bass Pro Shop, Joe's Karting can handle outings of well over 100-plus people. Bachelor parties, corporate outings, team building, birthday parties, and much more. Give Buddy a call today and reserve your outing. Joe's will even work with local restaurants to cater your event. Book yours today at joeskarting.com. That's karting with a K. It's time to get to Joe's and find out what everyone already knows.
It's checkers or wreckers as we enter turn 4 on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs.
Hi, Dave Despain with MAV TV, which is your television destination if you're looking for motorsports. Radio, you found it. You're listening to the front stretch.
Just about ready to wrap this baby up. Rolling high, wide, and handsome into turn number 4, and it's time to preview Homestead Miami Speedway. Dirk, every time we get to Homestead, people
Somebody
say,
wins a title.
Yeah. It's weird how that happens. Somebody says, well, maybe we should take the final race and put it at Martinsville, or maybe we should put it at Talladega or Charlotte. This is the best place we can have a championship race because it is one of the few tracks that will genuinely offer a low groove, middle groove, and a high groove. And drivers can search around and find different grooves for their car to feel comfortable at. And I think it offers a lot of really good racing.
Well, it does. I mean, I've been to the track, and when it was originally designed, it was a mini Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
It was very flat, and it had 4 distinct turns. Then they went ahead and redid it into basically an oval with no banking, and then they went ahead and made a third reconstruction and put banking in it. It's like a big Dover.
Yeah, and they put progressive banking in when they put that in there. That's one of the first tracks I remember hearing of the progressive banking.
Correct.
Which, in case you don't understand it, as it gets up to the outside retaining wall, the banking increases by a degree or 2, which will add better racing for the high groove because they're able to get better suction to the track. And
even
so
though
on.
they're going further around the track.
Right.
But it's I personally would like to see the championship determined at more of a traditional track.
Okay.
But this is the furthest south, I mean, on a map that you're going to find a NASCAR track. So for a race that's basically the end of November,
right,
you're definitely not going to be in Dover where it's going to be 30 degrees.
Your options are limited, very
exactly.
limited.
But I would like to see the track like something like Darlington or Charlotte. That would be great, because they start the season at Daytona. Again, Daytona's the second furthest track to the south, and it actually might be a little bit north of maybe Phoenix, if you did the longitude deal or whatever. But, they're looking at the weather as a big thing too. I mean, I've been down there at Homestead in November when it's 80 degrees, you're not going to worry about snow anywhere above Florida though in November. Atlanta, I mean, it snowed in Atlanta and they've snowed races out in March before. So that's the biggest thing that they worry about. Last year, I guess they had some rain delays and stuff like that.
They did. Was that last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think last year they had an hour and a half rain delay to get started, but they've had those in the past, but it's not common down there.
This race last year, your top 10 finishers, Kyle Busch got the win and won the championship. Kevin Harvick finished second, Brad Keselowski third, Joey Logano fourth, Kyle Larson fifth. Gordon, Kenseth, Kurt Busch, Johnson, and Hamlin rounded out your top 10. How your 2017 Chase finishers finished: Kyle Busch, again, won the race. Joey Logano, fourth. Jimmy Johnson, ninth. And Carl Edwards, I must have missed him. There we go, 11th. So that's the way your 4 Chase drivers finished this time last year. Your 4 drivers that are in it. Again, we talked about this in turn 1. I have the toughest time today thinking who we're going to take because All of Joe Gibbs Racing has now zeroed their attention in on Kyle and Carl. And I don't think anybody's going to get any more attention than anybody else. I think Kyle's got a slight edge because Kyle has gone to Homestead and beat Kevin Harvick last year, who was in the championship hunt. He was one of the guys, but as far as I remember, Kyle had that race locked up. Kyle
tops. Dominated. Carl never dominated when he lost to Tony on the tiebreaker.
He almost led the most laps.
Almost.
Yeah, almost. Yeah. He did lead for quite a bit of the race, but that was more because, and obviously I'm a Tony fan, so I'm going to say it's because of the issues Tony kept having on pit road.
Yeah, Tony was trying to lose the race.
Yeah. He passed 76 cars that day.
Yeah, I remember it was an astronomical stat, but he had the hole in the nose the one time, and, he had the rookie crew chief going, and, he had all that stuff happening. And but he was the hottest driver on the circuit. He'd won 4 out of the last 9 races, and he was able to get the job done. Carl, got to kiss his sister and ended up second through the tiebreaker.
Absolutely. And a tough one. I think that was one that really put Carl back for a year or two. Losing that close and fighting that hard.
It's almost like it put the whole Roush organization back. Well, it did. I mean, that was their last hurrah. They haven't done it. They hadn't done anything since then.
Yeah, you're right.
That was one of the reasons Carl left. But I think Carl mentally is definitely prepared. He took advantage. If he hadn't won Texas, he wouldn't have a chance.
Yep.
But he was good at Texas, and when he got the chance to go for it and get the win, he drove his butt off.
And he had a great strategy too. I mean, it was smart to leave him out while the question was, the rain may be coming. The rain is coming. Do we pit and get 4 fresh because we think maybe this race will go back to green, or do we stay out? And Carl ended up staying out with a lot of other drivers. And the rain came. The rain was hard enough, and NASCAR called the race.
Yeah, the rain was actually very hard. I mean, there's no question NASCAR had to call the race at that time of night. But if they if they would have just had a quick shower and gone back to racing, Carl wouldn't be in that championship.
He would have been. He'd have been stuck out there.
Well, or he'd have had to try a little harder at Phoenix, which I don't think he backed off at Phoenix. I think he would have loved to have had a 2-race winning streak going.
Yeah.
And like I said, him and Jimmy Johnson were both in. They both had the thing, if we can win and lock Harvick out of this deal, because, Harvick can win anywhere.
Yeah. Jimmy and Joey, let's talk about Joey first. He's been in this situation before. He probably had the best car in 2014, the first year that they had this format, but a late pit road issue where the car fell off the jack stand relegated him to a bad finish, and Kevin ended up going on and winning the championship that year. Do you see Joey being strong today because of their experience at Penske and because of his kind of head-down racing?
Well, Joey was a front runner. Joey was a top 3 car in 14. He finished 4th last year. So Joey can get around this speedway. Whether or not he's going to win, there's going to be a lot of stuff that plays into it. You got 40 other cars or 39 other cars you got to beat. But all 4 of these guys, 3 of them have won, and the 4th guy that's in there was the champion, the guy that won there last year.
Yeah.
So, if you had to make a bet, I think the car that I would throw at the bottom and not bet on for sure would be Jimmy Johnson.
Really?
Jimmy Johnson has never had to win a race to win a title.
Yeah.
He's always had a 300-point lead or, something like that. I mean, the one year he had to finish in the top 25 or something. He got like 22nd. He had 10 car lengths in front of him and 10 car lengths behind him, and he just drove around the track. He's got a race now. They got to go down there. They got to work at practice, which they always do, and everybody's got notes. But, again, it's a whole new package. Can you pull up real quick and see where Jimmy finished last year?
Yeah, he finished 9th at Homestead last year.
So, he ran a decent race. He wasn't back 29th or anything.
No, and to all accounts, what we've seen so far for this system, for this style of championship, 9th's going to get you 4th place in the championship.
Probably.
10th, 8th, to expect our champion not to win this race today is going to be really hard because I think there's a couple of more factors that go into it. These guys know that they've got to be the winner of the race. to be the winner of the race locks it in for them.
Exactly.
But also, I think that other drivers tend to understand that if I'm not in the championship 4, let's give him a little bit of space. Typically, early in the season, when you saw a guy going a lap down, he would run the leader hard because he didn't want to go a lap down. That put him in a bad spot. I think this year, when the leader comes up or the championship 4 comes up on a guy, they're going to give him the position a little bit more. And NASCAR, by the way, I guarantee it in the drivers' meeting today, NASCAR is saying if we suspect team orders or team cooperation, we will penalize you heavily. They've done it in the past. They want the 4 drivers that are in the championship hunt to be the only 4 drivers that can affect the outcome.
Well, I think what you're saying might be something that's going to happen, say, in the last 50 to 60 laps. But I don't think if a guy, let's just say early in the race, they're running green flag laps and 20 laps in, a top runner, and it doesn't have to be one of the top 4, but let's just say Martin Truex or Harvick or somebody cuts a tire down, has to make an unscheduled pit stop, so they end up 3/4 of a lap behind the leader. Well, if the leader comes up to pass them, they're not going to let him by.
Yeah.
They're not going to pull over. Now, with 50 laps to go, they probably will.
Yeah.
And one guy who's not going to let a leader go by at all is your boy.
Tony.
He's not going to let anybody go by.
I don't know. He's done a lot of letting guys go this year.
I think Tony's going to do everything in his power to win this race.
Okay. It would be great to see that. I think Tony's had the mentality for the most of his career that a lot like Kevin. If I'm in 5th, I think I have a 5th place car, I'm going to take 5th place. But if I'm in 5th and I think I've got a winning car, I'm going to take that win. They're aggressive when they think they have the car that can be aggressive. And I don't think Tony definitely does not like this car, doesn't like the aero package, doesn't like the engine package.
He doesn't like the engine package is what he really hates. He don't mind the aero package.
Yeah. And so I would be shocked if Tony sniffs the top 10 today. It would be great. I would love it as his fan, but a realist sets in, and I would say he hasn't sniffed the top 10 much this year. I don't know why Homestead would be any different. But I'm really excited about today's race because NASCAR has created a system with the style we have today that it makes everything as simple as it can get. You have 4 drivers that can win the championship. Whoever finishes the best of the 4 is going to be standing in holding the trophy at the end of the night.
Well, and this race, like you say, the winner has been the champion the last several years. And again, if you're 8th, 9th, or 10th, you're like 4th place, which means this thing's not going to be settled until the end.
Right. And last year's 4th place finisher for the point standings was Martin Truex Jr., who finished 12th. Let's see. I think who was the other? Who was the 4 last year? It was Kyle, Kevin,
Truex,
and Gordon, because Gordon got in off the Martinsville win. Right. So yeah, Martin Truex Jr. was fourth in the points at the end of the night. Gordon, then Harvick, and then Busch. So. Yeah, you got to push hard today. Talking about today, we've talked about it for the last couple of weeks, the Homestead Viewing Party going on today. We've got a lot of really great prizes that we're going to be giving away today. A lot of great things. We have a few lug nuts that we're going to get ready for you to hand out as a part of the prizes. We're going to be doing trivia and questions and just handing out stuff, and then we're going to wrap up the Pick'ems contest that a lot of the people have been playing for the last year. So I've got a list of what everybody wants, and we have autographed items from Kyle Larson and Cale Connolly and David Starr and Rico Abreu. Sammy Swindell handed us 10 autographed hero cards. We've got plenty of those. Plus, we have some really cool ones that I didn't do much of it this year because I didn't think it really went off as well with some of the drivers, but the posters that the tracks make to promote their events, we had a lot of those drivers sign them. And 2 years ago for the Fearless Outlaw finale, we had Steve Kinzer, Jack Dover, Brian Brown all sign them. And so we have a couple of those autograph posters to give away. Plus, I'll bring some of the old the Sunset Speedway reunion show, the flyers we have for that. I had a couple of those drivers autograph them, Bob Kaziski and Dave Chase, and some of those guys that came down for that show. We'll bring some of that stuff. But the grand prize is whoever could beat Dirk.
Which was about half the field.
Yeah. It was. I think you're probably gonna end up finishing somewhere around 20th, right? Because I think you're sitting at 21st right now with a chance to jump up if you have a good race.
Yeah, and I had a couple really, really bad races. Dale Earnhardt got me twice. And if if Carl wouldn't have bumped Kyle Busch out at Richmond, I'd have been in the chase.
Right.
if Kyle at the second race at Bristol leads the most laps and finishes 38th or 39th when I had him the second time. So Kyle kind of got me the second time, but those were 2 races. Kyle should have won the 2 races I picked him, and I got nothing out of him. So, it happens. Last year I didn't have that problem. I had one bad finish all year.
We're also fielding suggestions for any ways to make the Pick'ems contest better. We're making some changes in the offseason, changes that the contestants probably won't notice, but I'm making some changes to the Excel sheet. I've got a friend of mine that's an Excel expert that's going to be able to write up warnings for when somebody makes a bad pick.
Oh, okay.
So that it's a little bit easier. And we're also going to try to work out some of the glitches to people being able to open it and see who they've picked and that kind of stuff. But any suggestions, if you're a fan of the show, we would love to talk to you. We'd love to have you come down and spend some time with us. Again, we're going to get there. I'm going to get there at about 11:30. Everything's going to kick off at about 1. We'll start giving stuff away. The specials Quaker Steak and Lube have lined up for you are absolutely phenomenal. We hope you join us today and enjoy some of those, plus watching the race. There's nothing more you can do with that.
And I don't know, have you actually met all the people that are in the contest?
Most of them. I've met them through I-80 Speedway or when I was out at Crawford, but I've met them, but and converse through email, but I'll know them when I see them, but some of them I don't know what they look like.
Because I haven't. If you come down and you've never met myself or Dan, come on over and say hi.
Yeah, please do.
We'll shake your hand, and it's always fun to know that. I mean, I know a bunch of them, but I don't know anywhere near all of them.
Mm-hmm. It's been a lot of fun doing this contest, and I look forward to doing it again next year. So we appreciate everybody that participates in it. In case you don't know what the Pick'ems contest is, it's a free contest that we run for the season long, and we run 5-week contests. If you want to get involved in it, just send me an email right now, frontstretch590@gmail.com, and say, hey, I want to get more information about the Pick'ems contest, and I'll send you the information for next year so that you can get involved in it at Daytona. But I also want to say congratulations to Rick Havenridge, who won the 5-week contest.
Oh, there you go.
And won the $100 gift card. Rick's strategy was pick them all at the beginning and don't change them. And he had an amazing 5-week contest through the Quaker Steak and Lube $100 gift card contest, and ended up sneaking the win at the last minute when Matt Kenseth put it into the wall. And who was it that was in first at the time? He took Matt Kenseth. Whoever, I can't remember the name who was in first, took Matt Kenseth and was looking pretty to win that contest, win the $100, get himself a win, yada, yada, yada. And
the X Factor.
Yep.
So what?
And he sent me an email. How about losing it on a green-white checkered? That stinks. But congratulations to Rick. He's going to come down this afternoon and enjoy a couple of beers with us and watch the race. Again, we hope you do too. Quaker Steak and Lube in Council Bluffs. For Dirk, for Dan, we'll be back next weekend to announce the 2016 and 17 Legends of the Dirt Series. I want to say thanks to Corey Wilson for spending time with us today talking about his Turkey Chase car. I want to say thanks to Anthony Ainsle for joining us and previewing the Turkey Chase. And obviously, Dirk, thanks a lot for taking your time.
Yeah, another great show, another great season, but it's over.
And we have big announcements coming for 2017. Make sure you come down to Quaker Steak today. We'll talk about them.
There we go.
We can't share them on the radio for a while longer. We'll be back next weekend to announce the Legends of the Dirt Series for this next offseason. We'll be back next weekend. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. This is The Front Stretch on AM 590, Omaha's ESPN Radio.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Quaker Steak and Lube is the official watering hole for the front stretch and the best place to catch all the NASCAR action today. Open at 11 a.m. with delivery available to Council Bluffs.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Are you looking to book your next outing? Look no further than Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Located just north of Bass Pro Shop, Joe's Karting can handle outings of well over 100-plus people. Bachelor parties, corporate outings, team building, birthday parties, and much more. Give Buddy a call today and reserve your outing. Joe's will even work with local restaurants to cater your event. Book yours today at joeskarting.com. That's karting with a K. It's time to get to Joe's and find out what everyone already knows.